Heir. Emergency in the air. Get it? I was very flattered when Mr. St. John contacted me and asked me to direct his plays in your production. Actually, it was work in progress. You see, there were many rewrites and changes throughout the whole rehearsal period, and although it is very exciting to create such brand new work, it was quite a strain on me. And the playwright and the cast, of course.
Got that right.
Hush, Josh! Action should be unseen and unheard until the play begins. Oh, sorry about that. You see, the cast and I are feeling a little bit nervous. The show isn't quite finished. Oh, don't worry, the show must go on. The show must always go on, as somebody once said. I don't know who said it, but I'd like to get my hands around this again. Oh, you see, it's a murder mystery, and most of the characters have great words to kill. You'll see who. The thing is, Mr. St. John couldn't decide who he wanted the killer to be. In fact, he wrote various different scenes in which multiple suspects were revealed to be the murderer. We performed them all for him, and he still couldn't decide. In fact, as opening night got closer and closer, the tension in the air, that's AIR, got so thick you could cut it with a knife. In fact, it got so bad, I feel like we had what will sure prove to be a temporary breakdown. The reason he's not here with us tonight is because he is currently under heavy sedation in a very nice room surrounded by lots of padding. Oh, some people just have all the luck. Oh, the cast and I are here though, and we are determined to provide you with an entertaining show, even if it kills us. That's just figures, of course. That's where you come in. We're gonna have to ask you for help. During the first act, we'll discover which characters have a reason to kill, someone who will indeed be dead by the time the first act ends. And during intermission, we need you to scan that QR code and vote for who you think killed this character. Or at least that's what we hope will happen. It got very confusing during rehearsals.
It's no wonder we didn't kill the playwright.
Hush! Look, the part of Paul Thompson will be played by the very capable Caitlin Chamberlain tonight. Oh, and don't forget to turn off the phones. The phone lines are died in the show, and we wouldn't want anyone's phone to be ringing. It would really ruin the night. Also, no videotaping or flash photography. Okay. I think we might as well get started. Are you ready, cast?
I'm ready for gonna be.
All right, then, places!
Nancy, please. You know Mr. Starkweather is resting in his bedroom just through that doorway. You mustn't startle him. Sorry, Miss Withers, but you startled me. My apologies, but I dare say a slight scare will do you no harm. However, a sudden shock to a man in his 90s and Mr. Starkweather's medical condition could prove fatal. Remember that, girl.
Yes, ma'am. I guess this terrible storm has made me a little edgy.
Well, all except one, Mr. Starkweather's grandson, Mr. Simon. It's a long drive from his college and with the storm. I hope we can start without him. It is already past Mr. Starkweather's bedtime and he must have his sleep.
I assure you, Miss Withers, the room is spotlessly clean.
I certainly hope so. Mr. Starkweather's asthmatic condition makes the merest mote of dust potentially lethal.
I don't need you to tell me how to do my job. You brought the coffee?
It's right here on the table, Mrs. Trent.
Then go back to the kitchen and help me roast the rest of the refreshments.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Starkweather gives specific instructions that he wishes to have everyone present at the drawing room at 8 o'clock sharp. I'll ask Prince and Nurse to fetch the guests from the room.
Mr. Starkweather will be ready. be right there, Mr. Starkweather.
I got other cars parked in the garage like you told me.
As I told you, why waste my breath? You're dripping water all over the foyer. Why did you enter through the front door, Rufus? I've told you a million times that servants never enter through the front door.
I reckon I forgot, Miss Avenger. It's raining out there.
I am aware of that. It now looks as if it's been raining in here now, thanks to you.
You're welcome.
Go back out the way you came and maneuver yourself around to the back door. Do you think you can manage that?
Well, I don't know, but I suppose I'm gonna find out.
When the final guest, young Mr. Simon, arrives, I'll summon you so you can park his car for him.
No good. While I'm waiting, I'll sit by the fire and see if I can grow gills.
Don't be impertinent.
How can I be if I don't know what it means?
Just do as you're told. Go to the kitchen and wait there until I call for you. Not that way. Have you forgotten already that I told you to go around to the back door?
Nope. But I was hoping you had.
That man is an idiot!
I heard that.
Where do you want me to put this one, Minerva? On the coffee table. Careful with it. Yes, ma'am. I think everything is ready. You think wrong! Place the cups on the saucer so all we'll have to do is pour the coffee. Yes, Minerva.
The others are coming down. Miss Van Zandt informed me that Mr. Starkweather wishes the staff to be present as well.
He wants the servants here?
Precisely. Even Rufus. Had I been informed of the fact sooner, I would have ordered him to take a bath. He has been out in the rain, parking cars, so perhaps that'll help.
If you ask me, Noah's flood wouldn't help.
Be that as it may, I shall summon him and Mrs. Trench.
Well, why would Mr. Starkweather want the servants to be here? Well, my crystal ball let you know. Do you remember what I told you when you came to work here? Yes, ma'am. Do as you're told and don't ask questions. Exactly. Stick to that. I will remember.
Oh dear, I never know what to wear on special occasions. I suppose Uncle Sammy inviting us here is a special occasion, isn't it, Jordan?
I suppose so, when you consider that most of the time he treats us like lepers.
You think Uncle Simon treats us like jungle cats?
Not leopards, mother. Lepers. And don't worry, it'll be fine.
Thank you, son.
I'll tell you one thing. If we should ever inherit this mausoleum, the first thing we'll do is call up the Addams family and let them know it's in the market.
Honey chickens, are we?
Minerva, I didn't see you there. You were an attractive young helper there.
Nancy is a nice girl, and I mean for her to stay that way.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
I doubt that.
I don't understand.
Leave that. Miss Fiona, why don't you have a seat and we'll bring you some coffee? Coffee?
That sounds nice. It's a little damp in here.
That's because it's a lot damp out. How do you take your coffee?
Mother prefers hers black. I like mine sweet. I'll flavor it myself.
Whatever.
Oh, what lovely hors d'oeuvres. These are delicious.
How'd you like them?
You are looking very pretty tonight, Nancy.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, that makes me feel as old as great Uncle Simon. Please enjoy it.
She'll call you Mr. Starkweather, the way a proper maid should. If anyone were to call you another name, it'd be me. And you don't want to know which one I'm thinking.
Minerva, you never change.
Neither do you. Or more's a pity. Now go take a seat next to your mother.
Yes, Drill Sergeant.
My goodness, Kathy. I don't see how y'all can stand living out here in the movies, away from fine restaurants and movies and shopping centers. Why, I get so depressed, I just sit down and weep.
It's not that bad, Paula. I figured you're living with my family in town most weekends.
Oh, I am so relieved to hear that.
Well, you know, I just work for a large corporation for Mr. Starkweather, hired me to become his personal secretary. And believe me, this position is much nicer.
Oh, look what we have here. The rays of sunshine through this public gloom. You look beautiful, ladies.
Oh, Cousin Johnny, you're a rogue and a charmer.
I do my best. Won't you join us?
Have a seat over here. You'll be safer. We'll bring you some coffee.
Thank you, Minerva. I take my black.
Load mine down with lots of cream and sugar. I must admit I have an enormous sweet tooth.
Maybe that's what causes that corn syrup accent.
And how are you this evening, Cousin Fiona?
What? Oh, very well, thank you, Paula.
Well, that's just peachy. I swear I don't know why we don't see more of one another. It seems like the only time we get together is for somebody's funeral.
Well, aren't all funerals for somebody?
Shame on you. Don't be morbid, Cousin Jordan. I, for one, am glad this weekend's an exception to the rule. For once, no one's dead.
So far, anyway.
Oh, well, that's okay, honey. That's good.
What do you mean by that remark, Jordan?
Oh, nothing. It's just that when you called to tell us that great Uncle Simon wanted Mother and I to spend the night on Starkweather Mansion, at first I assumed you were going to say he had passed on.
You wish.
I started to pack my new black dress.
It was a natural assumption. I mean, he has slept for years and that helped. But of course, I was relieved to find out the old boy is still with us.
Kathy, darling, I bet you know our great Uncle Simon sent us here this frightful evening. Come on, tell.
Well, Ms. Van Zandt will go into the particulars. But I believe Mr. Starkweather got us here to discuss his will.
Really?
I appreciate if you didn't screw up with the nerves.
Why you misjudge me, huh? I was surprised, that's all.
Where's Cousin Simon? Shouldn't he be here too?
Well, when I contacted him last week, he said he'd be able to make it. Apparently, he's going to be late. And I tried calling, well, he can't. The phone lines are down.
Well, if we're here to talk about the will, he should be here. After all, he is great Uncle Simon's only grandchild.
Yeah, and he'll probably get everything.
Excuse me, sorry. I hate to interrupt. You guys are doing great, really. I suggested to Mr. St. John that these family relationships might be a little confusing. He agreed that he was going to write a scene where he explained everything. He was working on it when he snapped like a rubber band, so I guess I'll do it. Here's the way it works. Simon Starkweather, the old billionaire who you meet shortly, married late in life and produced one son, Simon Jr., who then intermarried and had one heir. Simon III, the college student who paid for the gathering. The original Mr. Starkweather, Simon Jr., and his wife are now dead. Old Simon's eldest brother, Paul, had a daughter, Bella, married Lucian Thompson, an Atlanta businessman. And they had Paula here. Old Simon's youngest brother, John, had a son, Ezra, who married Fiona here. And they had Jordan. This is Jordan, but you know that already. John, Ezra, are now dead too. I realize that's a lot of dead people that we don't have included in the play, but if we had included them in the play too, we would look at the marching band wanting to leave. And believe me, it was hard enough moving around the stage as it was. At any rate, old Simon is Fiona's uncle by marriage, and Jordan, Paula's and young Simon's great uncle, which makes them cousins. Or second and third cousins, I'm not really sure how that works. I don't know. I hope this year's things up for you guys. Sorry for the interruption.
We don't have the luckiest notion where we are.
I'm not even sure who I am anymore. Oh, sorry.
I see it.
How will you get everything?
Who will?
Your cousin, Simon.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yeah, and he'll probably get everything.
I'll be sure to recommend you on my
I'm just doing my job, Miss Van Zandt.
Good evening, everyone.
I know I haven't met any of you yet, but I've got a pretty good idea of who you all are. This is Starkweather and Mr. Jordan, correct?
That's right, Mr.
Davis. Call me Mike.
From what Miss Van Zandt just mentioned, you must be some sort of investigator.
You got it, pal. Private guy.
Huh, I see.
Who is this nice young man, dear?
He's a detective, mother.
A detective? How exciting! Do you know Jessica Fletcher?
Oh, no, ma'am. She's way out of my league. I do know who you two ladies might be, though.
Well, if you're a private investigator, I'd be surprised if you didn't.
That accent settles it. You're Paula Thompson.
You are 100% correct. I can't deny I'm from the deep south.
You came from any deeper south to live in Central America.
That leaves you to meet Kathy Collins. Nice to finally meet you in person.
Me too, Mike. Mike and I correspond with each other through email and text from time now on Mr. Starkweather's behalf.
Is this you take it?
No, go ahead.
Oh, hard to hear.
I expect you to remain unobtrusive.
I sure will. As soon as I find a dictionary and look it up.
To sit by the fire and keep quiet.
By the fire? That's it. On facts, I just smell kind of soggy.
Sit. Keep an eye on him.
I shall do my best.
If all is in readiness, Miss Van Zandt, I shall inform Mr. Starkweather.
Thank you, that's nice. There's coffee if anybody else wants some.
Oh, I can use some Minerva.
How do you take it?
In a cup!
Still!
What?
I understand Red Uncle Simon has asked to see you discuss his will. That is correct.
Frankly, I think this is a good idea. Mr. Starkweather's health is precarious. At best, he's hardly able to sight. I advised him to communicate with you all through mail, but he insisted on summoning you to Starkweather Mansion. I only hope he gets to grasp that decision.
Miss Willis is bringing in Mr. Starkweather to join us.
Can I move now?
Here you are, Mr. Starkweather.
Go.
I'll be right here if you need me.
I used to be surrounded by presidents and kings. Get my word, I shrunk into this. Had 4 relatives and a meager staff of Idaho. Son? Where's my grandson?
This person is in his way, Mr. Starkweather.
Can't wait for him. Not enough time anymore.
Good evening, Grand Uncle Simon. You're looking well.
Are you blind, boy? Just a habitual liar.
I was only making pleasantries, Uncle.
Save your breath. You're nothing but a smooth talker, Jordan, that doesn't cut any ice for me. You're nothing but a greedy, opportunist boy! I ought to know. I was going myself at your age.
I guess it runs in the family.
You got a point. Well, Fiona, you look the same.
I do. I thank you, Uncle Simon.
It wasn't necessarily meant as a compliment.
Oh, Red Uncle Simon, you're awful.
At my age, and with my money, I can afford to say what I want. And I do. That was my little Georgia Peach.
Oh, little me? Why, I'm just peachy, Uncle.
Or would you care for some coffee, Mr. Starkweather?
He mustn't have any. The caffeine will keep him awake and affect his blood pressure. Sometimes his medications cause it to run a little high.
Apparently, I won't be having any Minerva. You heard my keeper.
Yes, sir.
Everyone aspires to live to a ripe old age. And for what? To be kept alive by medicines and machines? To be prevented from enjoying a little life's pleasures like a cup of coffee?
You mustn't excite yourself, Mr. Starkweather.
You see? I'm not allowed to feel any strong emotions.
That's a bummer.
Ah, but very succinctly, Rufus, old age is a bummer. I could have searched my vocabulary extensively and so never came up with such an apt description. Bummer!
Glad you like it.
According to my doctors, I wanted to remain in this weak old body much longer. There's only one thing I'd hate to leave behind. My money.
Well, you know what they say, Uncle. You can't take it with you.
Yes, that's what they say. That's why 7 years ago I had Lois here drop my will. I suppose you'd like to see how I provided for you, my heirs.
I, for one, admit I'm just a teensy bit curious.
A teensy bit, eh?
Afraid something like this will happen. Here, Mr. Starkweather Reed, do you see what you've done?
Me?
Is someone gonna call an ambulance?
We can't, the phone lines are down.
It's all right. He lost his breath. He just needs to breathe pure oxygen for a few moments.
Tell them.
Very well. As you know, Mr. Starkweather has been a phenomenally successful businessman for many years.
I'll say he's been on the cover of Forbes magazine at least a dozen times.
I've never read it.
He has the distinction of becoming one of the world's first billionaires.
20 years ago, I begged dear Edgewood to ask his uncle to sell all business investments. But he was too proud.
Yeah, that had its pride. Lots of pride and very little money.
If I may continue, Mr. Starkweather's fortune is now in the neighborhood of around $50 billion.
If I know that, I ask for a raise.
I won't go into detail of the will, but it essentially bequests $1 million to each of his household staff. They are his butler, Mr. Benhurst, his housekeeper, Miss Trent, his cook, Minerva Walker, his maid, Nancy Flard, his nurse, Miss Withers, and his handyman, Lucas Jones.
Forget the raise!
Oh, Mr. Starkweather, I had no idea. The rest of his will goes on to state that the rest of his fortune shall be divided equally among his surviving relatives. They are his grandson, Simon III, his niece, Fiona Starkweather, and her son, Jordan Starkweather, who will share a third, and his great niece, Paula Thompson.
Isn't that nice?
I always need to do right by us, Uncle.
I knew you got mad when Mom married Southern boy, but you two must have agreed on one thing. Blood is thicker than water.
I bet Miss Withers could tell you a minute it is.
Now that I've told you all of the will's contents, I have another announcement to make. As of tomorrow, this will be invalid.
What does invalid mean?
It means no good.
I have a brother that's invalid.
It means we're not gonna get the money, you fool.
Oh, guess I won't be buying that big screen TV I was thinking about at the mall.
Say, you tell Lois.
Why did you decide to disinherit us, Uncle?
Found a better use for my money, that's why. Oh, I didn't put you out of title. Everyone in the old will get $50,000 each.
Excuse me. 50,000 out of 50 billion?
Yes. Lois advised me it was a good idea to leave y'all a little something to be less likely to contest to my new will.
You will.
Yes, my new will, Jordan. That's why I asked Kathy here to stay over at Starkweather Mansion this weekend to type it up nice and legal for my signature. Mr. Davis here, as a disinterested party, will witness the signing, and Lois will file at the courthouse Monday.
Davis said he was a detective. What did you hire him to do?
Mr. Starkweather has hired me to conduct an investigation on the quiet. Over the last 6 months, I visited a dozen or more foreign countries, checking out some of the world's most brilliant scientists. Some well-known and others who prefer to keep their experiments hush-hush. I succeeded in finding one in Belgium, let's call him Dr. X, who has agreed to help Mr. Starkweather do what he desires, which is to clone himself.
Hello?
That's insane!
What nonsense! It's immoral! I don't understand.
Good!
Was that not the only one?
samples you had me prepared. The ones you said would be examined by specialists.
They were sent to specialists with us. Specialists in DNA.
I thought you were trying to find a cure.
I was. Not a cure for my various ailments, but a cure for dying. And I did find it.
Cloning.
Precisely! Through modern science, I shall live forever!
It's not right.
That's neither here nor there. And moralists and politicians debate that question in decades to come. In the meantime, Dr. X, as Mr. Davis named him, created a brand new me. Sit down with us! A lot of you seem displeased. Not a suspect, a moral question, but if you change in function. Too bad! Clothing is very expensive, and the process I require must be done in absolute secrecy. Oh, but I'll still have a sizable fortune left over for the new me to inherit. No doubt, I'll be the first person on earth to become my own heir! My blood pressure too.
Yes, Mr. Starkweather. You'll excuse us. I need to take Mr. Starkweather's blood pressure.
Why can't you take it right here?
Mr. Starkweather's arms are too frail for me to get a good reading on them. I have an outside cuff made to go around the patient's thigh. He will be able to withstand the pressure from the inflated cuff better than. Mr. Starkweather has had enough excitement for one evening. I shall put him to bed.
I guess that will conclude our meeting, unless anyone has any questions.
I do.
What the hell is that all about?
Well, your Uncle Simon gave us all of us a fortune. Like he changed his mind. Instead, he decided to clone himself!
And what does clone mean? It means to take cells from a person's body and make a duplicate of the original.
They can do that? That's great! When old Mrs. Starkweather passes away, maybe we can get a job working for the new Mr. Starkweather!
The new Mr. Starkweather will have to be born and grow up. It goes against the laws of nature. How?
It has all been arranged. Once Dr. X treats them to life, he'll implant it into a host mother to prepare the child to birth. A host mother? Who? Me.
Why not? I'm young and healthy. I'll make a great mother for little Simon. Ever consider being part of this travesty?
I'll be well compensated. And besides, have you ever met anyone to give birth to a baby billionaire?
Uncle Simon is giving his money to a baby?
In a manner of speaking, yes. Once Mr. Starkweather passes away, his fortune will be placed into a trust fund, which I'll administer. I'll release the money to Dr. X and his staff to perform the willing procedure. After that, ample funds will be available for Kathy's needs of a child's upbringing and education. And once he's grown and properly tuned to in high finance, the fortune will be turned over to him.
The kid will look, think, and act like Simon Starkweather. He can conceivably parlay those billions into trillions by the time he's an old man.
But for what purpose? Leave it to another clone and another and another? When will it end? When Mr. Simon Starkweather with enough money to rule the whole world?
We didn't discuss it, but you could be right.
I can't believe you're doing such madness.
I can see why she would. Miss Van Zant and the Collins girl would live like billionaires themselves off of Mr. Starkweather's money. Money that should have gone to us and his family. I guess you two, since, you're part of the scheme.
Oh, no, not me. I did the job I was paid to do. I will take my very generous paycheck and go home. Quite frankly, I couldn't care less whether or not the Boston science fiction experiment works out or not.
You should be ashamed. You should all be ashamed.
I believe you've made your feelings quite clear, ladies. If you and the other servants will join me, I wish to speak to all of you in the kitchen.
I trust your ring if you require anything else.
Well, it will be kind of nice hearing the Peter pat a little Peter in the house.
Shut up, Rufus!
about to conduct an experiment that makes Frankenstein look like an amateur, and you're worrying about being proper?
Hey, cool it, kid, before you burst the blood vessel. Look, Mr. Starkweather has made up his mind, and I get the feeling whatever the old man wants, he gets.
Succinctly put, Mr. Davis.
I'm gonna go upstairs and pack. Once I witness the signing of the new will, I won't have any reason to hang around. Good night, Jordan.
We were wrong!
We were?
Yes, Mother, we were. Uncle Simon, and fortune, if everyone knows it, then snatched it away!
That was mean.
Mean? The man is a monster! Didn't you see the evil glint he had in his eye? He enjoyed doing this to us.
At least he's leaving us 50,000.
To him, that's no more than tossing a dime to a beggar. You heard him. I wish you were dead. I wish the old man were not dead! Night!
It would serve him right.
And Uncle Simon did die tonight. Then we'd get all our money back, wouldn't we, my dears? Would anyone care for a game of chess?
Any for your thoughts? That's all I can afford to pay now.
Mr. Starkweather.
It's Jordan, remember? At least Minerva the Dragon Lady is.
I thought everyone had gone to bed.
I was gonna turn in, but I got a note for a midnight snack.
Oh, I'll fix you
Oh,
something.
no, never mind. What are you doing up?
Miss Chet sent me here to make sure the fire's finished properly close so those sparks pop onto the rug.
And burn Starkweather Mansion to the ground? That wouldn't be such a bad idea.
You shouldn't say things like that. I know Mr. Starkweather's an invalid. How could
You read my mind.
Jordan,
Got you to call me my first name.
you mustn't suggest a thing. It's wicked.
Why should that surprise you? Everyone knows I'm the black sheep in the family. Think of tonight. You have $1 million, and I have billions. Think of all the good things we could have together.
Don't.
But then we've got. Admit it.
It's not. It's a horrible idea.
Which part? Getting the money or you and I?
The part about the money.
What about us?
Nancy! I thought you were gonna help me with the dishes! I was just checking the front doors, Minerva, to make sure that they're properly locked. See? And what are you doing down here?
I was looking for a midnight snack. I saw Nancy and I stopped for a little chat.
That appetite of yours is gonna get you in trouble one of these days.
Minerva, what are you doing with that knife?
Mincing onions?
At midnight?
I can't stand to have anyone see me cry. I thought I heard someone, so I came in to check. If you're hungry, come with me. I'll find you something.
Yes, Minerva. Anything you say, Minerva.
Finish checking, then come give me a hand. Yes, ma'am. Come on.
Yeah.
Rufus!
Ah!
I thought I had someone come in.
It was just me.
So I see. Good grief, man. What are you doing with that axe?
Well, let's take this. I remember chopping with the fire this afternoon. A porter started ringing. I didn't put the axe back in the shed. I forgot. I've been dismembering things a lot lately when it comes to me where I left. I figured I'd bring it back inside to dry it up so it won't rust.
That's fine, but why bring it into the living room? Besides, how many times do I have to tell you to use the back door?
As many as one. I ain't counting.
I swear, Rufus, you'll be the death of me yet. Go on into the kitchen and have Mrs. Trent give you a towel.
Oh, I ain't wet. It quit raining.
I know that. To dry the axe.
Oh, right.
Bang! If that man had a brain, he'd be dangerous.
I heard that!
Any quick thoughts?
Jordan! I was just getting a breath of fresh air. What are you doing up so late?
Munchies. What I could eat.
No, thanks.
So the girl's been sent fish right now.
Yes. It's all done except for Mr. Stephanie's signature. I see you calm down. I wouldn't blame you for hating me.
Why should I hate you? I wouldn't make the same deal if I were in your shoes.
I'm sure you would, Jordan.
You know, Minerva was right. Being the mother of little Simon will be the next best thing to him. I know so. And who would be a better father figure than I? Think about it, Kathy. You are a very attractive woman who could make distance.
Get your crummy hands off me!
What?
You're getting cookie crumbs on my dress!
And by the way, forget it. If I say little Simon is a father once he's born, I'll find a suitable husband then. I don't know who he'll be, but he won't be a sleazy, money-hungry slime ball like you, Jordan.
I could kill you, you witch!
I wouldn't try if I were you. No, the detective in the house.
Ah!
Aren't you finishing here yet? I have to make everything alright. Well, hurry up, girl. Your little wants you in the kitchen. Yes. Don't dawdle. Someone left the trash. I'll close it.
Oh, Mrs. Trent! You give me a fright.
I suppose I should be grateful you didn't shoot me with that thing. What on earth are you doing when we're in the house in the middle of the night with a gun in your hand?
Oh, don't worry. I know how to handle a gun. I couldn't sleep, so I thought I'd clean it. I was looking in the kitchen for some oil.
Well, I doubt you find me in there unless you went over with some crystal. Do you often carry that thing around here?
Oh, I take it everywhere I go. Daddy taught me to be a crack shot when I was 10. A girl can't be too careful.
Well, I don't think you have anything to worry about at Starkweather's mansion. You live miles away from the nearest town. Nobody comes out this way.
You never had burglary or a prowler?
No.
You know, with credit to Simon being so sick and all, it's a wonder somebody hasn't tried to break in and steal something. With this bedroom being on the ground floor, anyone could just break in through those French doors and do who knows what.
Like shoot him.
Well, it could happen. It's terrible as that one is. In his medical condition, how could he defend himself?
Well, I suppose he could have secret bullets on them. That should going away any intruder.
Oh, you're awful. But you know what? I wouldn't want to tangle with that woman. Where is she, son?
In the room beyond Mrs. Starkweather, so she can hear him if you need to spell for her tonight.
You know, if my memory serves me right, back when my mom brought me here when I was a little girl, that room used to be a library, and the room beyond it was a parlor. Am I right?
That's correct. When Mrs. Starkweather became too ill to go up and down the stairs, the library was converted into a bedroom for him, with their the parlor.
So they're the only ones who sleep downstairs?
Yes, the servants' quarters are in the attic under the eaves. We have our own staircase in the kitchen. Why do you ask?
Oh, I'm just curious.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, and again.
English in the program, which I thought was kind of rude. But it's a bad piece of writing, and I want you to know I tried to correct it. Oh, that's all.
I want you to know that if you do that again, you're gonna have to take that script and play as you shove yourself. Oh, I wish I had your nerve. Where were we? So, you're curious about the layout of the house, are you? Oh, I'm just curious. You know what they say, curiosity kills the cat. Yes, well, if you'll excuse me. Wouldn't it be ironic if someone did forget that all night and Mrs. Starkweather! Nearly got me dead. My apologies. Might I ask what kind of pills you were just strewn about the room?
Could you tell us for my heart? I have a heart condition.
Talus. Doesn't that speed up one's heart rate?
Oh yes, my little heart's just pumping away.
Perhaps a single dosage will be sufficient. I assume an overdose could be fatal.
Extremely fatal. Or am I being redundant? I suppose fatal, just like dead is dead. Don't you agree?
Completely. One cannot be deader than someone else, dead longer, perhaps? But that is the only comparison that comes to mind for that word. Might I inquire why you brought the medication into the living room?
Why? That's a very good question. Why did I even here? Oh, that's right. I remember. I was going to ask Miss Withers if she happened to have any free samples she could give me. I have a heart condition. Like to keep the supply handy.
It looks as if your bottle was full already.
Yes, it was. Whenever it hurts this kind of head.
I guess we should pick them up.
It's no Bensonhurst. I ask you something.
Be my guest.
Why are you carrying a wrench?
A wrench? Well, you see, I happen to remember Miss Withers mentioned she thought the valve on the gas heater in Mrs. Starkweather's bedroom was a little loose. I thought I would give it an extra turn or two.
How mechanical of you. We wouldn't want any of that gas escaping into this room, would we?
Naturally not, but first things first, shall we?
I'd like to pick you up popcorn.
This one there.
Where?
This one's the left kneecap. Left kneecap.
Oh, got it. They roll just everywhere.
Roundabouts tend to do that, madam.
What if I need to do this something? Yes, sir. Oh,
Mrs. Starkweather, what are you doing on the floor in Bensonhurst?
picking up spilled pills. This is much where you put your feet, my dear. Go for this.
I assume Mrs. Starkweather has required an injection. Is there a problem?
Nothing I can't handle. His lungs were a bit congested, so I took him out of his bed and sat him back in his wheelchair. He can breathe easier in an upright position. Then I gave him an injection of steroids to help open his bronchial passages.
My. Where would Uncle Simon be without you?
Dead.
Without me, his heart would have stopped beating long ago.
Speaking of which, wasn't there something you wanted to ask Miss Withers, madam?
Was there?
Did you tell us?
Did you tell us? Yes, of course. Miss Withers, I was wondering if you happen to have any manufactured samples we don't need. I have a heart condition.
condition, and I like to keep this quite handy.
I can see why you would. Yours tend to run out, don't they? I apologize, madam, but I'm fresh out of spare drugs. Your uncle requires every pill he's got to keep you home.
Oh my, then we had better pick all of mine up. Will you help us, my dear?
I suppose.
Is this a private game or can anyone play?
Oh, David, we're picking up spilled pills.
Is that it? I thought you were holding a tiny marble tournament. I'll pass.
Let me give you these, Mrs. Starkweather. I really must return to my duties. And here am I. If you'll excuse me.
Miss Withers, how's the boss?
Bossy. He sent me to get him a pitcher of fresh drinking water. Come back in a minute, he started ringing his handbell for me. You see what I mean? I'll be right there, Mr. Starkweather.
I gather he rings for you a lot.
Incessantly. Oh no, when you stop ringing the bell, he has kicked the bucket. You'll excuse me.
Spoken like a true member of the medical profession. What's with that red Spencer-Hurst? Something I can give you a hand with?
Thank you, sir, but no. It will wait. I too shall excuse myself.
You're up kind of late, Mrs. Starkweather.
I couldn't sleep. What about you, Mr. Davis?
I'm a real night owl. Besides, I was hoping young Simon Starkweather would show up. I haven't met him yet.
Oh, Simon's a sweet boy. I do hope he's all right. I mean, with the storm and all.
He might have pulled off the road to let it pass. But it's starting to cloud over again. We could be in for another deluge.
Oh, dear, I hope not. I believe I'll go back to my room and lie down.
Yeah. Good night again, Mrs. Starkweather.
I am coming, Mr. Starkweather. Oh, you're still here.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on things.
I see. Well, my patient.
Yeah.
You still up, Mr. Davis?
Yeah, and it seems like I'm not the only one. There seems to be more traffic passing through Starkweather Mansion at midnight than goes down on the interstate at rush hour.
Oh, I get what you mean. I've been hearing footsteps pass by my bedroom door all evening long. I mean, I was surprised though. Could have guessed that Mr. Starkweather's announcement because there's a sleepless night. And
Miss Van Zandt, this cloning business, how do you feel about it?
I'm a lawyer, Mr. Davis. To think, not to feel. Can Mr. Starkweather be cloned? Definitely been checked out if technology exists. Should he be cloned? Well, let's just say I would want to be the first to challenge nature by creating another Mr.
I'm the same way. You know, I've got enough to deal with in one lifetime. Oh, God. Well, it's broken. It just came off. The sooner we get the signing over with, and I can get back to the real world, the better.
Oh, well, the new will is finished. Mr. Starkweather can sign it first thing in the morning.
Well, the old boy's still awake. The nurse was in here a minute ago. I heard her ringing his bell for her.
And there's no reason us boys can't sign it now.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The people in this house are more tense than a bunch of long-tailed cats in a room full of rocking chairs. I know I'll feel better once the boss's plan is a done deal.
Why don't I go up to my room, grab a will, and you let Mr. Starkweather know?
Right.
What in the world?
The circuit breaker must have tripped.
But the storm passed hours ago.
I know, I don't like this. I'll find Bensonhurst and have him show me where the main breaker is.
Oh, good idea. I'll let Mr. Starkweather know.
Those are the trade.
It's all right, Mr. Starkweather. I'll make sure.
millimeters of mercury. Mr. Starkweather has been strangled to death.
Poor Mr. Starkweather. Who could have done such a thing?
You're kidding me, right? I'd say you and nearly everyone else in this room are right up there on the top 10 list.
Me?
Hold it down, let me check his body.
Someone's dropped in his robe. Is it blood?
I'm not sure.
What else could it be?
Okay, I'll handle it, okay? I'm the detective, remember? Miss Withers, what can you tell us?
After I brought him his pitcher of water and I made sure he was breathing all right, I went to my room and I laid across my bed. A few moments later, the lights went out.
I noticed that too.
Bringing his hand fell from me and I was trying to light a candle when I must have been struck with a very heavy object. I must have blacked out, and when I awoke, the lights were out.
Yeah, we can take it from there.
You seem to be in charge of things. What do we do now?
All right! We keep trying the phone so we can get through the house.
There's no line.
If the lines aren't up by morning, someone will have to drive me into town and report that there's been a murder at Starkweather Mansion.
Maybe the old man did himself in. Or maybe not. Young Mr. Simon, you made it! And boy, do we have a surprise for you!
During intermission, remember, the first thing you need to do is stand that QR code over there on the wall and vote who you think killed Simon Starkweather. All right, see you in 15 minutes. Oh my God, quick, let's start the show. Spot me. Over here, down right. Over here, spot me. Hey. Sorry, I was just making sure the cats knew what to do after they found out who the murderer will be based on your votes. You know, there are things Mr. St. John wanted to include in the second act once he decided who the murderer will be. You know, signs or actions that are clues to this person's identity. I wanted you to know so you can continually launch your detective and try to guess who the culprit is. That's all for now. Relax and enjoy the conclusion of Murders in the Air.
Dead? I can't believe grandfather just dead.
Well, he is, Cousin Simon. Why, he's the deadest person I ever saw. Funny you should say that. That's Grace and I were discussing the degrees of dead.
Mother, not now, please.
And he was murdered?
There's no doubt about it. You saw the body.
Poor grandfather would have gotten here sooner, maybe.
How do we know you didn't get here soon?
What?
For all we know, you could have arrived here hours ago. Parked your car out of sight, slipped into the house, turned the lights moments before you killed Simon Starkweather.
That is ridiculous! Why would I kill him?
Let's say a third of a $50 billion fortune is a pretty good reason to knock somebody off. If Mr. Starkweather had signed that new will,
I didn't know about that new will or that crazy clothing scheme you told me about.
it would have been easy enough to hide outside the French doors and eavesdrop in on the conversation.
Why would I hide? I was expected here. Look, told you what happened already.
Tell me again.
Alright, I had it creep at a snail's pace. Down that long country road from town. Rain was lashing the windshield so hard I could barely see. The wind was snapping branches off and flinging them against the car. It was like driving through a hurricane. When I got to the wooden bridge that spans the stream from the estate, I had to stop. The stream turned into a raging river and torn the bridge into pieces. Then I remembered a place about a mile from there, where a tree had fallen across the stream years ago. I used to play there when I was little. I managed to walk across it, and apparently I got here just after grandfather was murdered.
Oh, pretty good story. But it sounds rehearsed.
Not nearly enough. It's the truth, I swear it.
Maybe, but I'm still not crossing you off my suspect list.
And just who else do you have on that list, Mr. Davis?
Just about everyone in the house except Miss Collins and Miss Van Zandt. They had a heck of a lot to gain if your grandfather lived only a few more minutes. As it turns out, they're left in the cold.
Especially me. Lois has a client. Now I'm among the unemployed.
I'm sure once the state is settled, we can arrange for you to give it a generous severance check.
You can take care of your portion if you mind. Mother and I will pass.
So will I. Nothing personal, of course.
Of course. What do we do now, Mr. Davis?
The way I see it, we all sit tight until daybreak. In the morning, I'll have you show me the way to your car and drive me into town. I'll report what I know to the authorities and will notify them the bridge is out. My guess is the cops will have to come in by helicopter. They'll have to get the body to the coroner's office, examine the crime scene, take all your statements. Once the homicide detective is assigned the case, I'm out of here.
But you're a detective too, and you were here when the murder occurred. You have a better chance of solving this murder than anyone else.
Sorry, kid, but now that Mr. Starkweather is dead, I'm off payroll.
How hard to say. Of course, I won't get the money to take my part of the inheritance, but if you're willing to wait...
You're on, kid. I figure you're good for the dough. Incidentally, that offer just dropped down to the bottom of my suspect list.
Yes!
Well, I might as well start earning my salary.
How can we help this?
First, I need to question everyone as to their whereabouts when Mr. Starkweather was murdered.
Oh.
Correct. Also, I need to question you and the staff to find out if any of you have seen or heard anything that might lead us to discover the killer's identity. You got it. Motives, clues, and alibis. That's what a detective has to work with. The motives in this case are obvious. The rest isn't. Well, hopefully it will be by the time I'm finished.
That sounds like a good plan to me. Who do you want to start with, Mr. Davis?
Since you're paying the freight, call me Mike. How about you, Miss Thompson? You mind being first?
Oh, dead bodies just make me sick. And I'm awfully tired, but if I have to.
You don't have to, Paula. None of us do.
What do you mean, dear?
I mean, Davis isn't a police officer. We don't have to tell him the time of day.
You're right. But why would you refuse to cooperate unless you got something to hide?
Now look, Simon. Don't you start accusing me of murder unless you can prove it.
No, Simon has a point. You want me to tell the police? Everyone cooperated except for you.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. I'll answer your dumb questions. First, I'm gonna take Mother upstairs. She is up in years and she needs rest.
Thank you very much, Jordan. I'm not a spring chicken anymore, but I'm not Mrs. Methuselah either.
Are you okay, Mother? You need your digitalis?
No, but if I did, there's probably still 1 or 2 pills under the sofa. I had a little accident with my pills.
Come on, Mother. You can call when you're ready for us.
I assume you want to question everyone in my office. You can witness me in my room. I'll have to go to the old book and bring it in the remaining new one.
I would like to say, since I was in here earlier, reading my statements to me a clear picture of that tonight. Start with the mansion.
Well, you're the boss now. I'm particularly interested in what happened between the time Mr. Starkweather announced the changing of his will and the time he was murdered.
How long was that?
Several hours. Well, Miss Thompson, did you observe anything in that time frame that might be of use to us?
Well, I was very disappointed by Great Uncle Simon's announcement, as you might well imagine. I mean, I can understand why you might want to clone Tom Cruise or Ed Sheeran, but Great Uncle Simon? I mean, no offense, Cousin Simon, but your grandfather was not a very nice person. Anyway, I spent most of the time in my room, but I did come downstairs once on a little errand. I was in the corridor when I overheard Minerva and that cute little baby Nancy talking. What is the matter with you, girl? Did you leave your mind in the other room? You haven't heard a word I say.
I'm sorry, Minerva. I'm so confused.
About what? Has that no good scamp Jordan been bothering you?
Jordan? I mean, Mr. Starkweather. What makes you think that?
When I walked in on you two in the living room, you were standing mighty close together. We're a little lovey-dovey like. What was he saying to you?
I think he wanted me to.
To do something you didn't want to do?
Yes, but it's not what you're thinking.
I'll bet he better stay away from you. If that boy tries anything, I'll cut him down to size.
Minerva, no! He's not interested in me. I heard him talking about his policy.
Oh, I get the picture. When you lost your million, he lost interest in you, didn't he? He's following the money right to the Collins girl, isn't he?
He proposed to her, but she laughed at him.
Good for her. Serves him right. That lazy bum.
Don't call him that.
Nancy, don't be a fool. Jordan would just use you like he said a dozen of other girls I know of.
Maybe he's ready to settle down now. If Mr. Starkweather hadn't changed his will, he'd be free to.
Free to do what?
Nothing. If we're finished, I'd like to go back to my room now.
Go on.
Nancy? Yes, ma'am? Lock your door. Excuse me, folks. That little scene in the foyer was a flashback. It showed a conversation Paula overheard right before the murder. The other characters' stories, or at least portions of them, will also be in flashback. Isn't that clever? Anyway, I just want to make sure you got that. Continue.
You're really asking for it.
So, Mrs. Trent, have you seen or heard anything suspicious in the last few hours? Before the murder,
Suspicious? I suppose we call putting a gun around the house suspicious. Even though Mr. Starkweather wasn't shot to death.
A gun? Who has a gun?
Besides me?
Paula Thompson. That's cool.
Huh.
Claims the regular Annie Oakley, but she mentioned how easy it would be for someone to come into those French doors and kill Mr. Starkweather.
Did she now?
I can't tell.
Anything else?
I did happen to overhear a rather odd conversation between Mrs. Starkweather and Rufus. I was just going up the kitchen to see what candles were regarding a piece of papyrus in there, which you're not going to be very useful as to know. I was about to turn into the corridor onto the west wing when I saw Mrs. Starkweather at the very far end.
Do I have enough? Oh dear.
Starkweather!
Jesus, Rufus, you scared me out of years growth.
Oh, it's okay, ma'am. At our age, we do our growing sideways, don't we?
I certainly could. What are you doing with that TV remote?
Well, I'm borrowing it from a guest room that's not in use.
Whatever for?
Well, you see, I ain't sleepy, so I thought I'd watch some TV. The set in my room is all messed up. The color, I mean. Everybody and every goddamn channel is green. Meryl Streep is green, Jenny Depp is green, even Miss Miley is green. Like every channel is staring at Kermit the Frog.
How disconcerting.
You can say that again. Whatever it means. And then breath mints. Oh, what am I to feel? I can still taste the garlic when they're served supper.
These? No, no, Rufus. You mustn't take any of these. If you ate one, it could kill you.
Oh, in that case, I'll pass you. You better be careful not to leave it laying around, though. Because somebody could eat a bunch of mistaken kill over that.
That's entirely possible.
Or you put it in death certificate. House of death, bad breath.
Is it a laughing matter?
He'll be careful with them. I need every one of them.
So, Rufus had an axe in the house?
Yes, Master Simon. I had instructed him to chop some firewood earlier.
I'm surprised that you trust him with an axe.
Personally, I wouldn't trust him with a butter knife. I was simply relaying Mr. Starkweather's instructions.
Earlier tonight, Bensonhurst, was there anything of interest that you happened to notice?
Just one, sir. Earlier tonight, I was coming from the kitchen when I saw Master Jordan at the door to Mr. Starkweather's bedroom. The hall door, not that one.
Ah.
His behavior was somewhat flirting. I got the impression he was about to enter when the door opened and Miss Withers came out. It was apparent her unexpected appearance startled Master Jordan.
Well, what do you want?
I was gonna check on Uncle Simon.
No need, that's what I'm paid to do.
Well, how's he doing?
Still breathing, if that's what you're wondering.
Well, how much time do you think he has left?
Let's just say he needn't start reading any long novels, or even a short story.
Do you think he'll make it through the night?
I think Mr. Starkweather will keep his heart beating through sheer determination, long enough to sign that new will. That is what you wanted to know, is it not?
Why did you misjudge Miss Withers?
Give it a rest, Jordan. You love to watch him drop dead before daybreak, just like nearly everyone else in this house.
So do you. $1 million is a fortune. A lot of people would kill for that much money.
That's a hint. Forget it. As Mr. Starkweather's nurse, I'd be the prime suspect if his death was caused by anything but by natural causes.
Suspecting and proving are two different things.
I'm going to forget you said that. Good night, Jordan. It's true. Jordan Starkweather did imply that I was in a position to take his great uncle's life. I assume Bensonhurst also told you that I refused.
Oh, no, he did. But you could have changed your mind.
And then killed him with the blood pressure test. That would have been foolish. Hardly what you'd call by natural causes.
I agree. The manner by which he was killed makes no sense at all. Whoever did.
It's as if the killer was flaunting the deed in our faces.
Why would they do that?
I don't know.
It's a good question. Nurse Withers, if you had to pick a suspect, our murderer, a likely suspect, who would it be?
Off the record? Not Tom Studo. Too goody-goody for my taste. Although Southern girls can lure on the charm when they want to, but Skylar O'Hare was pretty ruthless when you get down to it.
We were told Cousin Paula has a gun.
You see what I mean? I dare say she and Jordan were both desperate to get their hands on Mr. Starkweather's billions.
What do you mean by that?
I overheard them talking in the corridor, shortly after Miss Van Zandt's announcement about the new will. They didn't notice me. What are we gonna do?
What can we do? Our heads are tied.
Oh, don't be such a wet cousin, Jordan. Not letting rotten amongst us. There's gotta be a way again.
I know. Maybe we can break the new will if we have Uncle Simon declare it safe.
Thought of that. It won't work. If Jordan was just a wild theory, we probably could. But it's not. It's been done. Mr. Starkweather's plan to be the first man to clone himself
But it wasn't what you call a romantic proposal. It was more of a business proposition.
Jordan have access to billions. What do you think Jordan has to offer you?
Himself?
In my opinion, that fortune teller is not worth 2 cents.
So you did turn him down?
Look, Jordan is attractive in a smarmy sort of way, but any woman who married him is a fool. And believe me, Mike, I'm no fool.
Oh, well, I've known that since the time we started working together.
You were smart enough to carry grandfather's clothes.
Look, Simon, once Mr. Starkweather made his mind on cloning, nothing was going to change it. He would have found a Stark surrogate mother somewhere, so it might as well have been me.
I understand. I think the whole idea was creepy.
Well, you're a lot nicer about it than the other heirs were.
For example?
Paula, for one. She had ended up taking up hope on getting her hands on Mr. Starkweather's fortune.
How do you know?
Well, I was in Moses' room with her when Paula knocked on the door and asked Lois to step out to the corridor with her so she could speak with her in private. But she left the door slightly open, so I couldn't help but overhear.
We're very busy with Thompson.
Preparing that new will.
Yes.
Miss Van Zandt, you're a lawyer. Are you sure this cloning business is legal? Haven't lawyers been disbarred for behavior
The
that
procedure will be performed in Belgium, as we were told our laws don't require it.
What about ethics? Haven't lawyers been disbarred for behavior that was unethical, if not illegal?
What's your point?
My point is, I want it on the deal. You can pay me from that little trust fund of yours to do Vegas Danny or whatever. I don't care what you name the position. But if you refuse, I'll be forced to report you to the Bar Association. Now, isn't that what you call it?
Yes.
Why don't I give you a little free legal advice, Miss Thompson? In the first place, if you accuse me of anything before the procedure's over, I'll sue you for $50,000 reduced debt and everything else you owe. And I'll finish. In the second place, by the time the baby's on the way, I plan to close my office and devote all my time to happy little Simon's care. So by that point, it won't bother me in the least if I were to be disbarred. You don't have to be a lawyer to administer a mistake. Anyone can do it. Oh, so you see, your threats are meaningless. As a matter of fact, as an officer of the court, I should report your feeble attempt of extortion to the police. No, save it! Take your silly southern self out of my sight, and I just might be willing to forget it. All right, I'll go. You won. Me? I found what's left of the Christmas candles I threw away last year. I thought it might be a good idea to have them out into the car dealer. I suggest you keep one to next year. Very generous of you, Miss Trent. Kathy's in my room. I'll take it for her also. Miss Thompson? Oh, all right. There's something in my room I need to get. What is the matter with her? Let's just say she's a poor loser. Thompson played her ace, and I trumped it. In a manner of speaking, I'll give this to Kathy.
Correct. When Kathy Collins saw Mr. Starkweather's body and screamed, you came in through the front door. What had you been doing outside, Rufus?
Was I outside? Yep, I guess I was. I remember now. I borrowed TV from a guest room, cuz.
We heard why, Rufus.
You did? You should travel fast around here.
All the actors on your set were green.
Sure what? Look like the Martians had it. Well, anyways, I look up the new set and the pictures didn't come too good. Everybody was fussy as a woolly one, so I went outside and turned the antenna around.
On the roof?
Well, it wouldn't do much good if I put it in the basement, would it?
Did you hear or see anything outside?
Well, it's not an owl, and a bunch of bullfrogs.
Rufus, I think he meant humans.
Oh, well, I saw Mr. Jordan in the patio when he was coming in. I don't know what he was doing out there.
Earlier tonight, Rufus, did you hear anyone discussing the new will?
Who didn't? Minerva and old Vincent and hers didn't talk about my tale. They were going on about it in the kitchen.
What were they saying?
That it ain't good, it's one. All these years so they can get their millions? Really? I figured $50,000 would get me a big screen TV. And now, I might even get me two.
That's interesting, Minerva.
Oh, yeah. The more Minerva thought about it, the madder she got. And that woman's got a temper. She was ready to storm into Starkweather's room to give him a piece of her mind.
You mustn't go in there, Minerva. Who's going to stop me? I shall if necessary. Oh yeah? You and whose armies? I totally agree with you that we were wrong. But a confrontation is not the answer. Then what is? Have patience. Mr. Starkweather hasn't signed the will yet. Perhaps he'll change his mind by morning. We should live so long! No, Minerva. He should live so long.
I've got a question for you, Jordan. All right. What have you been doing outside on the patio at the time of this murder?
Taking a breath of fresh air. Anything wrong with that?
Well, it wouldn't be if you had remained outside.
What do you mean?
When I made a cursory examination of the crime scene, I noticed that Miss Withers was the window in Mr. Starkweather's room raised a couple inches to let in some of that fresh air. Anyone could have snuck in.
Are you accusing me of killing Great Uncle Simon? Huh?
Calm down, Mr. Starkweather. I'm not accusing anybody of anything.
Okay, good.
Not yet.
Besides, from what we've heard, conning someone doing your bidding is more your style, Jordan.
Who told you that?
Okay, here's how this works, okay? I ask the questions, you answer them. I repeat, what have you been doing outside?
If you must know. I had an argument with Kathy, and I blew up. I went out to cool off, and... Or have you already heard about that?
Okay. I asked, you answer, remember? Let me ask you. Let me ask you this. You didn't kill Simon Starkweather, then you did.
Well, I'm not saying she did. But if you talk to that little maid Nancy,
Why her?
the girl has a crush on me. And don't get me wrong, gentlemen, I flirt with ladies a lot. But I did nothing to lead her on. She was upset about the new will. Not just that she will lose her money, but that I will lose even more. But I had strolled around the house, and I was outside the kitchen door when I heard Nancy talking to Miss Withers.
Can I help you with something, Miss Sylvia?
Mr. Starkweather sent me to get him a pitcher of water. I got it.
That poor man. When he lost his breath and had that attack in the living room, I realized what you meant when you said before that the slightest shock would prove to be fatal.
Exactly.
The slightest shock. Miss Bell.
I must go.
Yes. We wouldn't want anything bad to happen to him, would we? I was shocked when I heard that Mr. Starkweather had included me in his will. I didn't think he even noticed.
Oh, then you must have received two surprises. To hear you be inheriting $1 million, and then that it was all being taken away.
3 surprises actually. Now you're wealthy again.
Oh, Mr. Starkweather, I was thrilled to be told that your grandfather was leaving me $50,000. With that, I could get a good education like you and go to college.
No, you can do whatever you want, Nancy. What do you want to do?
I don't know. I haven't been thinking about myself much lately.
Oh, who has been on your mind, Nancy?
I
Jordan Starkweather, perhaps? Oh, you're very fond of him, aren't you?
Who told you that?
Himself for one. He even implied he might be willing to kill for him. That's what Jordan's really like. He's out for himself and he'll trample over anyone who gets in his way.
I guess I knew that. Minerva tried to warn me. I even heard her propose to Miss Collins. And then she laughed about it when she was talking to her friend, Miss Van Zandt. I was in the guest room later when I was taking the fresh towels from the room. You think Jordan is cold-hearted? But Miss Collins is just as bad as he is.
Those soulful gazes might work on some innocent young thing like that maid Nancy, but they're looking up that I know pushover.
Oh, I wish I'd been there to see it. I could tell Nancy about every single maid that had worked here before she did. But Jordan's playboy days would be over soon enough, though. I believe. Well, up until now, Mr. Starkweather has given Jordan, as well as Fiona, all an assignment, a generous amount. But when he passes away, that $50,000 bequest will be the last they get of him. And they're going to have to learn what it's like to actually work for a living.
Well, Simon's out of college. He'll be fine. But the others, they'll spend their money in no time. Then what kind of jobs will they get? Can you imagine? Paula, behind the desk of a car rental agency.
Or Jordan driving the cars out of the lot for the customers.
And we'll be able to do Salisbury's cake.
Is there a little water maybe?
No, dear, I'm fine. Mr. Davis, I want you to know that my Jordan couldn't have done. Oh, dear, someone stuck to Uncle Simon. He was with me in my room all evening.
Now, Mr. Starkweather, you know that can't be true. Your Jordan himself told us that he was outside at the time of the murder. And I saw you in here with Bensonhurst and Miss Withers.
Oh, that's right. Then it must have been last night. Now I know why Jessica Fletcher never believes the suspect's on Murder, She Wrote. It's so easy to get confused.
Concentrate on tonight, Mr. Starkweather. Did you happen to notice any suspicious activity?
Suspicious? Well, I saw Uncle Simon spider with that horrible finger on his neck. I call that suspicious.
Might means before that. Doesn't feel like
Before? Let me think. I don't know if this is the sort of thing you mean, but
yes.
it was right after you were told about the new will I had all gone upstairs. I was passing by that secretary's door when I heard the housekeeper and her inside. They were speaking quite loudly, so I couldn't help but overhear. What are you doing in my room, Mrs. Trent?
Oh, I was just checking all the extra rooms to make sure they don't have extra places in them. I suppose you should be very pleased with yourself, Miss Collins.
Why do you say that?
It all went down as you planned.
I don't know what you mean.
I think you do. I understand now what about those magazines from town and let them flying around and Mr. Starkweather to see them. You've done it for months now.
What magazines?
Don't play dumb, Miss Collins. Those news magazines and scientific journals, they all had one thing in common. Article about cloning. I didn't realize it until tonight, but now it's so obvious what you were trying to do. You planted the idea Mr. Starkweather had to clone himself.
And what if I did?
There's no laws against sharing ideas, are there?
I'm sure your lawyer friend would say so since you're in this together. That doesn't mean it's right. I think what police do is hideous.
And quite frankly, I couldn't care less what you think. Get out!
Starting to give orders, are you? Ellie, remember one thing, young lady. You're not crazy yet. And you won't be until Mrs. Starkweather's name is in the dotted line. Assuming that ever happens.
Kathy told me about Janet's accusation that she engineered the cloning business, possibly with my help. Apparently, Miss Starkweather reported the conversation correctly, which is something of a surprise.
Is it true? Did you and Kathy give grandfather the idea to clone himself?
I don't think that's relevant to the case right here. Besides, if we did, we weren't breaking any laws. Would you agree, Mr. Davis?
No laws that I can think of.
So then shouldn't we be focusing on the law that actually was broken? Murder, I'm referring to.
Well, you're right as usual, Miss Lindsay. Can you volunteer any information that might be of use to us?
I will tell you this. Earlier this evening, I went down to the kitchen to fetch a pot of coffee from Minerva. It was apparent that Kathy and I would be up all evening if I assumed that her Kathy would help. Except when I went, she wasn't there, but Rufus was, and he was speaking to Fiona Starkweather. And their conversation was peculiar.
Good heavens, Rufus, what are you doing with that axe?
Right, but the wood better dry up good. Sharpen it up too, was it?
Good heavens, no, put it away.
Maybe I should. Or hurt somebody. Maybe kill them.
That's a terrible thought.
Ain't it though? I get this sometimes, do you? I see you still have your poison pills.
Did you tell us it's a poison? It's a stimulant. You just have to be careful not to take too many.
But I saw you have more in the bottle when I saw you upstairs. Oops. I hope you haven't gone down and overdosed. Do that mouth-to-mouth stuff.
If you bring those things any closer, I'll snatch that axe out of your head and chop them off!
Just trying to help you, Mrs. Starkweather.
Oh, don't. There are things worse than death. I assure you, however, I am fine. I just spilled my pills and wasn't able to find them all.
Well, I hope Minerva doesn't find none. She fixes Mrs. Starkweather's meal and she's mighty mad at him.
What are you suggesting?
No, nothing. Were you looking for something in the kitchen?
I just came down to see if Minerva had any of those delicious hors d'oeuvres left over.
Oh, well, I can look.
Never mind. I seem to have lost my appetite.
Mr. Starkweather's meal? What do you want to know about that?
Who did he dine with? Did he eat the same food as everyone else?
Mr. Starkweather was on a very restricted diet. Low salt, low fat, so I had to prepare his meal separately. Why do you want to know about the food? Is there something wrong with my cooking?
Oh no, Minerva, you're an excellent cook. That leg of lamb you served tonight was spectacular.
Yes, well, I've been told I have terrific legs.
Changing the subject, do you know who was in the kitchen when the lights went out? Before I got there.
Blackout? I'm not sure. Let me think. I was in the pantry checking the supplies for breakfast when it went dark. It took me a moment to grab the candle that was shaking in my pocket and light it.
Minerva! Nancy! Is everyone alright?
I'm here, I'm fine. That's not gonna say the lights go out.
I was in my room when everything went dark. What happened?
And parents forgot to pay the light bill.
That's out, and don't forget to pay your wages. What in the blazes is going on here?
Apparently the storm knocked out the electricity. Like in those come in handy, you see?
Remind me to give you a good story later.
How'd you get the electricity back on?
That's what I came to find out. That's a nurse.
The second break is right over here.
I hope they hurry. I don't like the dark.
That fast enough for you? I'll get back to my chore.
What did he come in here for? That idiot chucked water all over my clean floors!
Why Mr. Starkweather doesn't fire him, I'll never know.
Any luck?
It's there all right. It should be enough to pinpoint our murderer. I wish I had more, you know? It could take weeks for us to get the results that we need. And if the will is probated by then, the killer could get away for good. It's easy enough to get a new identity for $1 million or more.
I was hoping we'll find out more by questioning suspects, but
Me too, but like, they were so busy trying to make each other look guilty that I realized, man, when they talk, they don't reveal much about themselves. Sometimes even the slightest.
Slightest.
Simon,
Yes.
move your feet. Is that? It is. They were doing it at the time was so insignificant. I hadn't even noticed it. Simon, I know who killed your grandfather.
Who?
I'll tell everyone as soon as I gather this evidence. You go get Bensonhurst home and you can see everyone down here immediately.
Yes, sir.
Oh! Hello.
Hi. I'm sorry. Mrs. Trent sent me here to make sure that you want to.
Never mind that. Go upstairs so everyone can down here in the double. Hurry!
Okay, I don't think the police chief will mind me using a sandwich bag to collect evidence. I don't think he'll mind at all. Yeah. Huh. That's something. Checkmate.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but he found out.
Everyone's sleeping. Settle down and find a seat.
It's very late, Mr. Davis, or early, depending on the way you look at it. Well, if no one else is going to ask, I will. Why'd you call us down here at this hour?
Oh, it has been a very long night, hasn't it? I'm sure you're all very tired. I know I am. But I felt you'd all be able to sleep soundly knowing who killed Simon Starkweather.
You mean you discovered who killed Grandpa Simon?
I'm pretty sure I have, as I'm about to show you in the next few minutes.
I'm amazed, Mike. How'd you figure it out?
First, I had to find the answer to a question that had bothered me from the very beginning. It would have been so easy to make it appear as though Mr. Starkweather had died of natural cause, a suggestion Jordan Starkweather made in his wedding.
I didn't mean to say.
What? Mrs. Starkweather or her son could have given him some of her digitalis to trigger a heart attack. But several of you here who were aware she had them and have loved several in this room could have taken some and done the same thing. Miss Withers could have achieved the same result by injecting an air bubble into his bloodstream with a hypodermic needle. Then, again, any of you could have snuck into the room, stolen the needle, and done the same thing. It also occurred to me that several of you might have thought to frighten the old man to death. Bensonhurst with his wrench, Minerva with her knife, Miss Thompson with her gun, and Rufus with his axe. The possibilities are endless. Why then would the killer choose to put a blood pressure cuff of all things around Mr. Starkweather's neck and pump it up until he strangled to death? The answer was so simple. I felt foolish for not realizing what must have really happened sooner.
Might someone ask what that is?
Oh, well, obviously, when the cuff was put around his neck, Mr. Starkweather was already dead. Isn't that right, Miss Van Zandt? It had to have been you. We were in here together when the lights went out. Mr. Starkweather started ringing his bell. I went to find Benson. You went in to check on him. I figured you must have arrived there seconds after the killer slipped in Miss Withers' room.
But I figured too.
But why would you put the cover on his neck?
Well, as our able detective here has surmised, the murderer made it seem as though Mr. Starkweather died of a heart attack. Death would have indeed been due to natural causes. But there was no doubt in my mind, however, that someone in this house had murdered him. And I was not about to let my employer's murderer get away scot-free. And I knew under the circumstances the coroner would have no reason to perform an autopsy nor the police conduct an investigation. So I noticed the blood pressure cuff next to his bed wrapped around his neck before wheeling him into this room.
That was very naughty of you, Miss Van Zandt. For a while, your little ploy had distracted me from the real problem. Instead of focusing on who did it, I was focused on why they chose to do it that way. Once that piece of the puzzle was solved, the rest came easier.
Sorry, Mr. Davis, that if you discover the murderer's identity, the end seemed to have justified the means.
I imagine law enforcement will agree, even though technically you are guilty of tampering with evidence at a crime scene.
Well, if not, I am on great terms with the judges.
Wait, how do you know Isabel Sam didn't kill them?
No motive.
Oh. Yeah.
That human is a friend might tell us who did kill Mr. Starkweather.
I'll do better than that, Kathy. I'll show you. Everyone, please stay seated. Bear with me. I assume you all still have the candles Mrs. Trent distributed earlier tonight in case of a blackout. Take them out, please. Light them.
Don't touch it.
It's nice, very Christmassy.
When I examined Mr. Starkweather's body, I found what I at first thought were a few drops of blood on his robe. Upon further inspection, they turned out to be another substance entirely, and I forgot about them for the moment. As I was interrogating each of you individually, I noticed one of you scraping one thumbnail against the other. At the time, I took it to be a nervous gesture. I guess you could say it was nerves triggered by guilt, as it turned out. And I forgot about that too, until I recalled Minerva's testimony about those of you who had gathered in the kitchen with candles. A few moments ago, I discovered these on the rug. And I finally had the link we needed to discover our murderer's identity. Thin scrapings of red tallow. Tallow from the killer's thumbnail. Tallow that matched the red drops on Mr. Starkweather's robe. Tallow from the red candle that the killer was holding when she killed Simon Starkweather. Tallow from the one red candle among you which you are holding, Fiona Starkweather.
There might have been other red candles.
There aren't. I remember thinking you have to red ones for next year.
Is this all the evidence you have to offer to the police? This candle?
No, dear Miss Starkweather, it's not. I just examined Mr. Starkweather's body. As I moved about the room, I glanced at everyone's hands, and I noticed that there are several thin scratches on your wrist, made no doubt by Mr. Starkweather as he struggled for his life. I'd be willing to bet my reputation that these skin samples, very much, that I managed to scrape from underneath his fingernails came from you. It would be easy enough to prove. I've met quite a few experts on DNA during the last 6 months.
I don't suppose you consider cloning these scrapings and putting them newly to prison.
Never in a billion years.
I didn't think so. Well, then, I suppose my biggest mistake was trying to cross a lawyer. I might have made you lose access to Uncle Simon's billions, but you definitely thought you were right.
Hey, why don't you tell us what happened?
I might as well. You figured out the main details anyway. I was furious with Uncle Simon for bringing up our hopes, then dashing them to the ground. I thought a man that cruel doesn't deserve to live. Then I listened at his door and slipped in from the hallway once I knew he was alone. He was sitting in his wheelchair, still awake. So I went to him and I cracked the handle of his wheelchair. He was terrified. So I raised my throat. I was shivering just like you. He jumped from his chair and slammed into the bedside table. The impact sent the ring up crashing to the floor, and the pitch of water on top of it.
Wait, so you didn't
It nearly ruined everything.
But I had the candle and matches, so I lit it up. That's when I slipped into the connecting doors into Miss Withers' room. Her back was against me. Not against me. That's not it. It was towards the other side. She was lighting up her candle, so I went to her, grabbed the brass candlestick from her dress, and struck her with it. That's when I stepped into the hallway.
I assume that's when you were turning my apparent natural death into an apparent murder, Miss Van Zandt.
Moments later, Kathy screamed. I joined you all as you ran in here.
I'm sure you were just as surprised as everyone else to see the blood pressure coming around Mr. Starkweather's neck.
Oh, I was. But what was I supposed to do?
It was easy to guess what Miss Van Zandt had pulled.
I didn't dare.
Try to do anything, of course. Until now! And when anything else moves, don't anybody move!
Mrs. Starkweather, you don't want to do anything you might regret.
It's late for that advice, Mr. Daniels. Get up and cover me! I go burn the bridge falls out.
I know the fallen tree that signed it.
Summon third parties onto the table.
Yes, Cousin Fiona.
Let me get away.
Oh, I think I might. Park my car on this side of the street. And it'll take you hours to walk into town. I'll be long gone by then. What's gonna happen to me? I would have committed the perfect murder if you hadn't interfered. What do you think I'm going to do with you? I don't think if I can help it.
Hold it right there. Benson, Heir, skip the lights, right? Don't move. Move. I always think these good things. You never know when cups will come in handy. Let's have them.
Mike, remind me to pay you a big bonus.
No problem, kid. You, Mrs. Starkweather, are going to be spending a lot of time behind bars. You have anything to say for yourself?
Long time. Maybe I could organize a chess club.
no time to waste.
It's a text from Mr. St. John. From a drug-induced coma when he awoke, a fantastic solution to the flame became crystal clear. It's better than any of the possible solutions he came up with before. You guys simply have to see it. It will only take a few minutes to go over the changes of the cast, but I think it was mine.
Oh no, we don't mind at all.
Oh,